Welcome back, everybody. Excuse me, let's have a look at some of these charts then, shall we? So the last few videos that I've made have been I suppose like the same story, basically. This is the same old story that I always tell, and I suppose the titles I've been using are, I suppose, quite sensational. Like I used a 5,000k Bitcoin future, which, to be honest, in my mind is it's not unlikely, and then I used a 2k Bitcoin question mark, which again it's unlikely, but it's when we're charting for these things, it's still possible. But that involves, well, I mean, you have to watch the video to understand that. Obviously, I talk through the video and I explain the prices all the way down. So and the lowest being around about 2,000, or actually a little bit lower. So I explain it. I'm not saying that that's where it's going, but you appreciate that as far as YouTube's concerned, clickbait is part of the game. So let's have a look at what's really going on then, shall we? And this will just be for short-term analysis. There's no point in getting too far ahead of ourselves. I've already done that. Let's just talk about what's going on now. So we're looking at the 4 hour, okay? Because, like I say, we're looking for some kind of rhyme or reason to what's going on. So we have expected, and like I say, I've been expecting a downtrend now to begin, and we've essentially almost confirmed that, really. So the downtrend being started from this level here, where we were rejected from this trend line that we were rejected from each time. So that to me was the hammer that we've felt on 2 occasions before quite significantly. So this will be yet again another hammer knocking us down. Sorry, I've got a really squeaky chair here. So another hammer knocking us down. So the main question is where is it going to hit us down to? So the main thing, the most important thing, is to think about it as in incremental steps. Okay, so each step has the opportunity to be its bottom and then sort of, I suppose, reverse back up to the top. But as we're just beginning this, what I was actually going to say is an actual downtrend. We're just beginning it. I think there's probably a few steps before we find that bottom. Okay, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't bounce and reverse from 8,500. We could do that, but I'm not really thinking that that's likely. I think that is basically going to be our next step. Okay, so there's a few reasons for that. So first of all, when we're looking at this on the daily, that's where the 200 exponential moving average is. So we can see that yesterday we fell beneath the 50 and rejection point, came back down outside of the Bollinger Band and brought back into it by the end of the day. And so today we're playing around at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, sort of, I suppose, being supported, you could argue, being supported at the bottom of it, but the weight is still down. Everything's still down for it. The pressure is down. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and who knows, maybe this will be a 6th red candle in a row. You don't usually get that many in a row, and if you do, it's never usually a good sign. So we've got some nice supported wicks here bringing us back up into the Bollinger Band, but it's not enough. I think that basically, whether it's today or more likely tomorrow, when all the rest of the financial markets get brought back up, and I do feel like they're going to likely take a hit with the news about the virus and second waves and this, that and the other. It's not really going to look good for the future of I suppose the world economy. So I do feel that a lot of that's going to be priced into the market opening. Plus, I feel like something like Nasdaq has reached an all-time high. It's looking to, I think it's very toppy, and like I say, I mean, that's speculating what's going to happen tomorrow, but I've been keeping my ear to the ground for that reason alone, because that will impact Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has already, like I say, begun its downtrend. I mean, these candles haven't yet properly confirmed a full-on downtrend, but we've got several lower highs leading us down below this broken support line here, below now the green 50 exponential. So the next place of significance for me is going to be on the 200 exponential here, around about 8,600, we'll call it. That's where we'll be supported from, and yeah, we will find a bounce from that. Now the bounces could, at this point, breaking down to this level, the bounce I would not expect to get back above the green 50, which as of today is around about 9,200. Once this gets broken down, then it is a matter of coming down to the lowest area of significant historical support, which is 7,700, where I do think we do actually find our first opportunity to really bounce from there. So let's have a look at what's going on today. So we go to the 4 hourly, just a smaller time frame. Let's have a quick peep at what's going on. So yeah, we got wrecked and actually recovered very well, but on the first relevant moving average, which is the 10 simple here, we've already found on 2 occasions we've been rejected from it. So the last wick and this current wick has been rejected from that. Now breaking above there would be okay. Probably find our way up to around about 9,150, centre of the Bollinger Band, before we get rejected from that. To break any higher above there, it would be 9,250. So I see those sort of figures being thrown around on Twitter from the few people that I follow, and I imagine that this is likely where they're getting it from these figures. And these are just as of today. These figures are relevant as of today. They won't be relevant tomorrow, as they're down facing at this point in time. And I imagine that, like I say, because I believe we are in a downtrend, they'll be down facing for a period of time. So that means that obviously our major resistances will be going down, which makes it easier to break if we were to make those runs. But if we don't make those runs, we won't break them. I think they're more likely to be rejections hammering us down until we get to that 7,700 area, which is our first real chance of making a pop. Okay, so I'm not going to bother looking at any even smaller time frames than the 4 hourly and the daily. They're the ones I generally use anyway. So the daily looks like it wants to hang around at the bottom of the Bollinger Band as of today, but don't be surprised if it leaks and drops and even comes down to this level. I think what's happening now is that we're being bought up. We're probably going to go in a very small trading range for the rest of the day, but as soon as those other markets open up and we see if there has been some speculative risk calculated into that due to, I suppose, coronavirus and things like that. If that happens, then yeah, the speculative risk I would expect we'd see maybe a couple of % or more taken off some of the major indices, and that will impact Bitcoin definitely. Brought Ripple up just for fun, and Ripple is basically doing exactly the same thing. Some of these alts have found significant bounces, some really good bounces actually, but they also suffered quite heavily. So we're looking at the 4 hour again, same deal, brought back up into the Bollinger Band, being rejected basically from that 10 simple. If we go to the daily, yeah, it's basically the same. It's the same deal. So we're going to be lurking around at the bottom of this Bollinger Band. We might drop out of it, but I'd probably say that if we did drop out of it, we'll be coming down to the 200 exponential. So that is that for Bitcoin. But for Ripple, we don't have that because we're already beneath. We've got a bearish chart here on the daily, so we've got the 200 simples 200 exponentials all the way up here, 200 simples there. What else have we got? Let's turn some of these on. Do I have the green, the purple? I've taken that off. Oh, so what's going on here? There we go. Okay, so as far as the daily is concerned here, one thing that we do have in our favour is a simple moving average above the 200 simple moving average. So this isn't going to last long, and this again is going to be another death cross on the daily for XRP. So this should hammer it down big time. And the trajectory it's going at the moment, we've got to about, I suppose, the middle of next week, 1st of July. That will have made a negative cross, and even though that's technically not a death cross, it's signifying a prolonged downtrend. So with XRP, we are still going to be going down. We've got this here. Let's see if I can keep this straight. Now this is a 2.5 year downtrend. I think we're likely to actually come down to test this. And it's like I said in my Ripple video the other day. You know, we've got a 2 year downtrend for both Bitcoin and for XRP. What's going on here? And for XRP, and XRP did break out of that 2 year downtrend. This is only very, very rough. Let's try and straighten up a little bit. Oh, I hate that bloody thing. Right, so it broke out of it, and you can see the move it made, and came back down beneath it. It broke out of it again, and had a nice big move. And on this occasion, we did try and use it as support. We've not yet tried to use it as support, and since we broke out of it the second time, I think now is the time that we're going to try to use it as support. So I think that the likelihood is we're going to come down to test wherever this is, and it's coming down very steeply now. So if we do find a big plummet with Bitcoin, this will be tested. I believe this will be tested. This will be our first level of support. I hope that we don't break down beneath it, but if we do, then it's going to make even lower lows with XRP. We could even be seeing things like 5 cent, 2 cent, ridiculous prices of XRP. But I think before we start to speculate on the single digits of XRP, I think we're looking to find bounces on this descending trend, and probably might find our reversal around there, depending on what Bitcoin's doing. So I'm going to leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. I hope you had a good weekend, and take it easy.